نحتفظ بالمرتي ونستافد من السخاوة ديال فورفيات وين باي انوي على وين بويما ولا من لابليكاسيون وين باي انوي.
Los italianos siempre han sido los imbatibles.
Abbiamo giocato un mondiale in casa e non lo abbiamo neanche vinto. Questa cosa non esiste, non esiste.
Fare la Coppa del Mondo in Italia e vincerla?
La Kings World Cup Nation sarà in casa mia.
Allora si fa.
Le damos la bienvenida a la Kings World Cup Nation.
Here in Juventus Stadium.
Y ojalá que se juegue contra España y ganemos nosotros.
¡Vamos a la España! ¡A domar a los argentinos!
Si no podemos chocar la mano, esto va a estar muy jodido.
The Kings League is the place for the biggest stars.
Esto es histórico, ¿eh?
Es una barbaridad.
Qué locura es esta, tío.
Bem-vindos à Kings League.
A very good afternoon. Welcome along to the Kings World Cup Nations. We are once again back at Vismara here on the south side of Milan, and it is a huge day in prospect. It is, Thomas Lawrence, day 3 of this inaugural edition of the Kings World Cup Nations. You've been here for days 1 and 2. How excited are you about day 3?
Hello, Patrick. Well, I'm very excited after the first 2 days, which have flown by. They have been action-packed, full of drama, which is what you always expect when it comes to the Kings League, and in particular this inaugural Kings World Cup Nations. It is delivering the goods. It is living up to the big hype and the big billing. Argentina going to be in action at 1600. You can see them warming up here. Also the Japanese players as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing Nakamura again in action after he downed Italy on round 1, and round 1 was characterised by a number of surprises and upsets. Unlike yesterday, I have to be honest, Patrick, we saw the teams that we tipped, Simon and I. A big shout out to Simon, Super Simon is tuned in as well via Twitch following us. There was no real surprises yesterday. The favourites came through and did what we expect them to do, which is to win.
Absolutely. We're really looking forward to this first clash, Argentina-Japan, as you mentioned, warming up. But it is important to stress that today is the completion of round 1, and therefore we have the opportunity not only to see teams going through, but there also be some sides that will be eliminated.
Yeah, today really is for many a last chance saloon. Spain and Italy in particular for them. Who'd have thought it? One of the favourites, Spain, potentially going, or one of the host side going out. But let's just take a little step back, Patrick. As I was saying earlier, the teams we tipped to win, winning yesterday: Brazil, Turkey, Colombia, Germany as well. Germany really impressive. Simon and I were saying yesterday, we called them Die Mannschaft with their efficiency. They did the job. They got it done, and they marched on to the fact that they can now, if they win their next game, they go straight through to the quarterfinals, where it's so key to win that first game, whereas if you lose, you find yourself in this situation where a lot of sides today will find themselves, such as Spain and Italy. So a real stunning day, some standout performances as well, as we'll look to discuss later today, as well as building up to this game, Argentina against Japan, which we can see is one of 4 huge fixtures that we have upcoming today, and it goes all the way through till 1900 this evening, Patrick.
Indeed, a quartet of matches today. We've got Argentina against Japan. The winner will go straight through to the quarterfinals. The same is true of the United States against Uzbekistan. Spain and Italy, they're right on the wire. So too Mexico and Saudi Arabia. Were they to lose those matches, they'll be going home. But if they win, they're going through to the last chance.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that last chance saloon, that's where you really do not want to be. You want to go straight through. So those in the winners who playing in round 2 find themselves in that strong position, have an advantage to go straight through to the quarterfinals in, as we're saying, this inaugural Kings World Cup Nations. The first ever time that national teams have been competing for this big prize. Of course, we will say it's about entertainment, spectacle, that's important, but it's also competitive. These players have been there, they've done it, many have played at professional level, so they're not here, Patrick, just to have a kickabout, far from it. They're here to win, they're here to impress and strut their stuff.
Absolutely, and there's a big turnout once again here at Wismar. We're seeing fans, of course, in the stands here. It's very hard to get your hands on a ticket. A reminder, it's all the build-up. The road to Turin, if you prefer in English, will be at Allianz Stadium on Sunday, the 12th of January. But chance to look back at what went on yesterday, Thomas, beginning with Brazil against Korea.
Yeah, a great victory for Brazil. The Seleção, we talked about teams coming here wanting to win, and Brazil doing just that. They learned from the teams in the first day who slipped up. They came out charging straight out from the blocks, and it was a big, big win for them. We also see there's the Gaules, the Brazilian president, who actually scored his penalty. He's here with the team, as you'd expect. He is close to the team. He's there every time they do their training. But South Korea, obviously, they did their very best, Patrick. They played with a lot of pride, as you would expect, but Brazil just too strong. And Croatia also paying the price for their profligacy, Patrick, in the end.
History was made. We saw Gaules dispatching that penalty there. Da frio, ice cool, as he showed there from his celebration, evoking Cole Palmer amongst others. But history was made because it was the first ever time in Kings history that both teams had scored a goal with a star player. Reminder that those goals count double, and Kelvin really stepped up, didn't he, Thomas, with those 19 goals in 9 matches. He's averaging more than 2 every game.
Yep, Kelvin Oliver, it's one of the reasons why candidate for the Corona de Oro. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Patrick, I know you're the linguist, so you can always correct me if I make any mistakes with any language I try and tempt this afternoon. So he had a fabulous performance, and here again, this penalty, I think Gaules has been learning from Kelvin Oliver, and that celebration as well. Look at that, and Kelvin Oliver, the first man to meet Gaules there. Look at that, that is all about the team spirit, samba style indeed.
Absolutely, Gaules has clearly been getting tips from the great Brazilians from down the years. The names trip off the tongue in the 11-a-side game, but here we're talking all about 7-a-side stuff. However, it does begin, lest we forget, if you're new to Kings League, we will have that staggered start, the ball dropping from 5 metres, and then one by one, with every 60 seconds that elapse, a new player will emerge on the field. That was Brazil against Korea. These are live footage you've got here of Argentina warming up in their game against Korea.
Yeah, and what about Korea, I should say? Again, talk about the nerves. Hopefully the Korean players and the rest of the players don't suffer the same kind of slip-ups that I've just gone through there yesterday. He had a great performance, as we said, a bit of history being made. We saw Kelvin Oliveira net for the first time, obviously double goals when he had the special armband. That's one of the secret cards that you can have. You wear a green armband, and when you score, your goal is worth double, hence that green armband. And similarly, South Korea went up the other end, and they also scored with their star player, their number 18 yesterday. And I really won't attempt to pronounce his name because I tried yesterday, and it was a real mix-up and I don't want to embarrass myself again on air, Patrick.
Well, maybe we can ask him to say your name as well, Thomas Lawrence. We'll see how he fares with the anglicised version of that particular name. But as you can see, we're really excited about the first of our 4 matches. We are building up to Argentina against Japan. A reminder that Argentina prevailed by beating Spain by 4 goals to 2. And indeed, it was the turn of Japan beating Italy, the host nation, by 3 goals to 1.
Yeah, that was one of the real upsets, unlike, as we said, in Brazil against South Korea. South Korea again showing, as we said, going out with it, and there's a very famous face indeed.
Park Ji-sung.
Park Ji-sung, United, great Champions League winner, Premier League winner amongst others. He did his best to inspire, and I think he would have been very pleased with the performance from his fellow countrymen. They certainly did themselves proud, and there's no shame in losing to Brazil. The team spirit, we saw them also suited and booted ahead of kick-off. They arrived looking really sharp, really smart indeed. And there was one supporter from South Korea, even though Morocco were the fans that really packed out this stadium and also outside the ground as well. They were the real leading lights, one could say, when it came to sports.
And
but
did you
South
spot the
Korea
message
had
on that hat as well, from Vietnam with love, he said.
Wow.
So yes, a supporter hailing all the way from Vietnam, coming to cheer on Korea Republic. As you said, sartorial elegance there from the Koreans. It's been pretty laid back here, both in the stands. We can see that with the president as well, with Gaulis, etc. We're also in short sleeves ourselves. It's absolutely baking inside the Vismara, not only in terms of the temperature with all of the fungi, as they call them here in Italy, those very warm red hot lights, but also because the atmosphere is starting to sizzle, Thomas.
Absolutely. It may be very cold outside, but here inside, the atmosphere, as you said, is being cranked up a notch with each second that passes by. And those players out on the pitch that are warm up, they know it because they can feel the heat here, but they can also feel the tension that is being cranked up with every second ahead of the match. And there was tension between Turkey and Ukraine out on the pitch, of course, ahead of kickoff. We're talking about the competitive side because both teams wanted to win, but and they can only beat one winner, as we know. No draws in the Kings League. Ukraine, plenty of possession, but very much like South Korea, paying the price for, and just like that cutting edge, Patrick, in the final third. Turkey, meanwhile, were clinical. They saw less of the ball, but this man here, the number 61, Swad Ak, he scored 4 goals, his 4th coming in the final 2 minutes, which means, as our Kings League aficionados know, is worth double. So Turkey winning that 5 goals to 0, the biggest win so far that we had, and the only team yet to keep a clean sheet.
So we could say, absolutely, Turkey 5, Ukraine 0. We could also say Swad 5, Ukraine 0, because he scored all 4 goals, as you said, that latter strike being worth double, and a clean sheet to boot. So Turkey perhaps installing themselves as a potential early favourite. We are going to see them in action a little bit later on in the competition, lest we forget today is all about the teams that took part in day 1, today day 3.
Absolutely. So it's about those teams, but it's good to have a recap and remind everybody, a refresh, those that were with us who know what it's going about. But it's always good to look back and enjoy what we saw yesterday, because it was a real spectacle. And if you weren't with us again, as I say, where were you? But don't worry, we're going to continue our recap of yesterday, looking at Colombia against Morocco. And again, Patrick, here, 2 big favourites, but Morocco really disappointed, and I was surprised by it. I really was.
And they were cheered on to the rafters. This place was absolutely packed. Strong Moroccan contingent in many parts of Europe, and in particular here in Italy as well. And even those that didn't necessarily make it inside to the Vismara, they were outside making themselves heard. I was watching via streaming on YouTube, and I'm sure plenty of those supporters as well. They're probably outside hearing the atmosphere and then had it on their smartphones as well if they couldn't get in.
Yeah, and they were, and you, Patrick, one of 1 million viewers worldwide for that match. And that just, again, a massive thank you to everybody who tuned in. It just shows the Kings League, which just goes from strength to strength. So that was, as I said, the atmosphere side of it. Out on the pitch, meanwhile, because let's not focus just what happened off the pitch and all across the world, not just here in Vismara, also you streaming and following all across the world. But on the pitch, as we said, Colombia really disappointed. It was Colombia who stormed to the victory. This was a wonderful goal, just going round the keeper there and slotting it into the empty net. Again, Colombia just was so clinical, Patrick. They were so clinical, they were so fast, they took their chances. They didn't have as many chances as Morocco, which is the surprising thing. But again, it's a simple rule. It's a bit of a cliche. You've just got to take your chances, Patrick.
You do, and I know that some of our Spanish colleagues, because as you know, Kings League was created in Spain. There was a little bit of schadenfreude there because they know that both Fuad and Nadir Loua both defected from Spain. They could have represented Spain. They opted for Morocco, and in the end, they're on the losing side against Colombia. Rather surprising.
Yeah, Fuad, though, did manage to get his shootout goal just in the nick of time, as you can see. They're right on the gong. But then Nadir missed a penalty, last gasp moment. It could have reopened the contest instead of a grandstand finale, but that Colombia keeper Camilo yesterday, I think it's Camilo double L, if I'm not mistaken, or Camilo, either way, he was outstanding and he won the Man of the Match award, thanks also to that penalty save.
Very impressive then from Colombia, keeping Morocco quiet with those two star players, Fuad and Nadir in particular, the latter being the reigning Corona d'Oro.
Yeah, exactly. And we mentioned, and we saw Fuad earlier with this, and this it said this was right on the gong. You had to actually go to the VAR. A reminder, Kingsley does have VAR, assistant VAR, so he managed to put his penalty shootout away. As for Nadir, we saw a few moments ago, he didn't manage to convert it.
And that's where the players have 5 seconds to score the penalty, is that right?
That is correct, Patrick. When it comes to the shootout, very much like ice hockey style. Also, I think the MLS in the 90s experimented with something similar. And of course, this was a traditional penalty, which Nadir, again, surprising. It wasn't his day. It wasn't Morocco's. I don't know, Patrick, whether all that support went against them. I don't know, but it should have maybe given them a boost. It didn't. It didn't work out.
It's a double-edged sword, yes. You can both feed off that support. You can also then start to feel the pressure. And maybe there were a few nerves jangling, lest we forget these are predominantly amateur players. They have come here by coming through tryouts. But there are some professional ringers, if you will, and we've seen some of them over the course of the last few days. We'll see some in action again today. Emiliano Viviano is one, and Leonardo Bonucci, I believe,
as well. Really excited because he didn't play, and neither did Viviano against Japan. They only had Ciccio Caputo of the sort of former professional players starring for the Azzurri, and despite Caputo's best efforts, he was unable to inspire the Azzurri, surprisingly losing to this team here, Japan, who upset them, winning 3 goals from. The only goal actually scored by it was from their president, Blur or Blur, depending on your pronunciation. We're going to do English style Blur, Italian it would be more Blur. He got his penalty away, and talking of presidential penalties, Peru did manage to score in their match against Germany yesterday, thanks to a president penalty, but overall it was Germany's match. They were so dominant in terms of the possession. Here is the penalty. Check this out, Patrick.
Not the best, but they do say if the goalkeeper commits himself, then you're well within your rights to go straight down the middle. It's often the best place you can go. I would have suggested him lifting it slightly because a trailing leg could have easily kept it out. But in the end, Germany, that's what's true about Kings League. Yes, there are some emerging nations, there are some surprise packages as well, but you also get those traditional dominant forces in the 11-a-side game. Germany are one, and they're showing it as well here in this particular format itself.
Absolutely, and Leitner inspiring Germany, the Die Mannschaft with the number 10 jersey. Simon, yes, it's been like the famous German number 10s down through his Lothar Matthäus comes to mind for me.
Here in Milan.
Exactly. For Inter, really starred with them in the trio of Germans with the late Bremer and Jürgen Klinsmann, for example. This was a wonderful shootout shot yesterday from Portilla. There was some moments and glimpses of Peru, but Germany were just far too strong.
And a reminder that this is a global event. Yes, we are broadcasting from Milan live, but we are all over the globe. We've got 3 customized broadcasts in 3 major languages: English, Italian, of course, the local host broadcast, and Spanish as well, plus Portuguese, German, French, and Arabic. There are more than 40 creator channels, all streaming simultaneously, and we are going out to more than 20 television channels all around the world, Thomas. The eyes of the world are on Wismar at Milan and the Kings World Cup Nations, the first ever edition.
Yep, and those 4 fixtures: Argentina, Spain, Argentina, Japan. I beg your pardon, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Then it will be Spain. Exactly, Spain against Italy shortly after, then USA against Uzbekistan, and Mexico against Saudi Arabia. So much to look forward to today, as we've just been saying. As I said, I just can't wait. In particular, I know I shouldn't say this, but Spain, Italy, for me, that just really stands out because it's a last chance to do it, and you wouldn't have expected it. But of course, nothing to take away from the other fixtures from Argentina, Japan, USA, Uzbekistan, who could be the dark horses, and Mexico Mexico against Saudi Arabia. Mexico, one of the favourites for me still, despite their surprise loss to the USA. But just Spain, Italy just stands out for me. But anyway, one step at a time. I'm just getting too excited, but I just can't help it.
Absolutely. You have been broadcasting this for a couple of days already. You're very much au fait with all of the Kings League and everything that this has to offer. But the Japanese goalkeeping pair will be very important, in particular today, if they are indeed to get a result, as they did against Italy. But first of all, we have Mexico against Saudi Arabia, which was another match which is on the way. That is going to be a meeting of two teams that lost their first matches, Thomas. And the crucial thing to point out here is that whoever loses, they're going home. They won't stay.
Absolutely. Hence the reason Mexico will be looking to the likes of Diego Martinez, professional Mexican player who scored 7 goals in the Kings World Cup clubs for Muchachos. FC's not the only one that really impressed for me against the USA, also with Martinez. As for Saudi Arabia, well, there's a host of standout names for me. I really like Omar, but I'm going to pick out, I've done my homework, Patrick, I'm going to pick out the number 22, Mohamed Abu Saban. Over 277 appearances in the Saudi Pro League, and he was part of the Saudi national team in 2013, and I think that can be crucial, that can be key.
Because they've got the experience, not only their technical ability, which never loses you, Thomas. I mean, you and I have played at a very low level at football, but occasionally in our working life, we have come up against former professional footballers. And even if they're in their late 40s into their early 50s, what you find is they never lose that touch. But moving on very swiftly, USA-Uzbekistan is our 6 o'clock start time. And some crucial players, particularly stateside, with Eduardo Pollo, who was a goalkeeper in Major League Soccer, so in that part of the world, and he was part of the rookie team as well in the NASL 2019 to 2020. So certainly USA will have a very tough goalkeeper to get past with Eduardo Pollo Cortés. I think Pollo's chicken.
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Yes,
even I know that. In my basic Spanish, no, he performed a number of standout string of wonderful saves against Mexico. As for Uzbekistan, I'm going to go for the other end of the pitch. Patrick, I'm going to go for their towering number 9, Jabarov, who's played for the Uzbekistan under-20 national team, so maybe, not at senior level, but a taste of international football, and also at the under-20 Asian World Cup.
Well, you say that, but at under-20 level, we often see players graduating into the top league. We saw that with the Italy under-20 side in 2019. And speaking of Italy, that huge game against Spain. Spain, one of the favourites. Italy as the host nations. How many times in the past have we seen teams that tend to organise and host a competition be driven on by that local support? But the issue here is that Spain were beaten by Argentina 4-2 on day one. Italy succumbed 3-1 to Japan. And so, we're struggling.
Hey.
Cosa fa? Signora, questo caffè se lo porta a casa.
Well, there you have it. That's you should never do that to an Italian. You should never do that to an Italian. That is
there are few things more disrespectful. Putting pineapple on pizza, snapping spaghetti, and another one which I don't like, which people tend to do, is when they actually throw a bit of spaghetti towards the ceiling to see if it's cooked and sticks. But that's Alberto de la Bella, Thomas. Talk to me about him.
I do like Alberto de la Bella. Meanwhile, almost 200 appearances for La Liga side Real Sociedad. Also in a Greek Super League, playing for Olympiacos. So he is one. Again, we talk about experience. You look to that man there. As for Italy, well, talking of experience, he is experience personified, Patrick.
Sciacquatevi la bocca, wash your mouths out. That is his iconic celebration. I'm sure we might see it as well if he steps out there, because lest we forget, Leonardo Bonucci, despite being a centre-back who's very decorated, been there and done it, won the Euro as well in 2020, lest we forget, he's also very good from the penalty spot, so we might see him step up to take a penalty.
Oh, yeah, we have seen him step up before, and talking of players being able to step up, well, it's almost time for Argentina and Japan, Patrick, to step up. A reminder of some of the top players that we picked out. Augusto Fernandez, former Atletico Madrid and River Plate as well, one of the Argentinian giants, 16 caps. Also featured in 2014 World Cup, which was unlucky in the end, but at least they got to the final. As for Japan, well, a number of players, but I'm going to go for the keeper, Fukaya. goalkeeper known for his agility, and he also scored, Patrick, yes, I didn't get that wrong, he scored against Italy, the goalkeeper scoring, and that's the beauty again of the Kings League.
And as you can see there, he's only 184 tall. I say only 184 tall because that's relatively diminutive for the stature of a goalkeeper, albeit Kings League is all about agility, I would suggest, especially with this very small seven-a-side pitch.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is about the agility, the technical ability, and Japan have that in abundance. Argentina as well, though, lest we forget. So this really is, I would say, almost too tight to call between Argentina, Germany, and Argentina and Japan. Again, I'm looking ahead to the next day. But a reminder, this is a competition, Patrick, and the objective is to go all the way.
Absolutely. You're looking too far ahead. I want to look ahead now because across from me, across the pitch, it says in big letters, Kings World Cup Nations, Italy 2025, the road to Torino. Yes, we are all heading towards Turin, Allianz Stadium, and that wonderful arena on Sunday, the 12th of January. We can't wait to see you there. A reminder, if you haven't already secured your tickets, what are you waiting for? We want to see you. Yes, we'll be streaming. Yes, you can join us online. But if you can make it to Turin with the Alps surrounding the city, I sincerely suggest you do so.
A few tongue twisters there for both of us. We're both in a real twist. Let's hope the players don't have these kind of slip-ups very shortly when the action begins. Argentina against Japan. Will Argentina or Japan be there in the final on the 12th of January? One thing's for sure, you'll be there, Simon will be there, and we hope you'll be there as well. So snap up your tickets right now for the final in Turin on the 12th of January. So we're almost there, almost time.
Argentina, the land where the gods of football reside. From the white of the clouds and the blue of the sky emerges La Albiceleste. When nothing seems to go right, the miraculous hand of God appears once again to reach an impossible victory. Japan, the place where battles become art. The nation everyone adored in the last Kings World Cup for one reason, because they lost. This time, you're not going to like them because their sole purpose is to win.
Welcome then live to Milan. We're all set for the first game on day 3. It is Argentina against Japan. Well, 2 rousing anthems then to build us up for Argentina against Japan. Japan, a reminder, getting the better of Italy on the first day. Argentina getting the better of Spain in what is an international classic, Patrick. Indeed, and both with a couple of goal cushions as well. Japan 3, Italy 1 on day 1, and Argentina 4, Spain 2. And a reminder, much of these scorelines is down to the fact that in the last couple of minutes those goals are worth double. And if we go into the last 2 minutes with the scorelines level, then what we have is a golden goal. First to score wins. I'm not sure if you've necessarily had that come to pass yet in the first 2 days, Thomas. If so, want to keep an eye on today.
Oh, absolutely. We had it in Uzbekistan against Saudi Arabia. It was some late drama. On Twitch, Patrick, they're saying that Japan are the slight favourites, so that's interesting. Maybe the fact they've already beaten an international giant on the first day, they can do it again as the Spotify secret card is being picked.
Okay, so
this can be one of several secret weapons which can be used in the second half, only in the second half until the 38th minute, and we'll talk about those as they develop over the course of the match. They're the Japan starting lineup, the squad ready for this big match. Nakamura, for me, Patrick, that my eyes immediately go towards him. As for Argentina, any stand-up players? There's no Aguero today, a reminder.
No, there's not, but I'm sure he will have been able to impart some of his advice to the rest of the team, and we know that Argentina, they have such a talent pool, whatever it is, be it futsal, be it 7-a-side, be it 11-a-side. Kings World Cup nations, they've already won once, they're very keen to secure their passage into the quarterfinals, have a couple of days off as well.
That's also a big factor. The rest as well in these kind of competitions. You want to arrive fresh, you don't want to be leaving it and then playing an extra game and then going into that quarterfinal having played 3 games. You want to go there having done it the easy way, straight through it. But then again, it's a double-edged sword. You can also look at the other way. You go into having played another game, perhaps a bit fresh, and keep an eye on him. He scored, we mentioned Fukuya for Japan's against Italy. Similarly, the Argentinian keeper, if I'm not mistaken, Sanchez. It should be Luis Sanchez, I beg your pardon. That was my fault. I was pointing to the wrong name. Again, I do apologize. At times I get my Spanish mixed up, Japanese mixed up. I'm not the linguist in this duo. That is Mr. Patrick Kendrick. But he scored against Spain from distance, one of the goals of the tournament. And I'm sure we're going to have plenty more contenders today as we just await the lights here.
And we are a very new sport as well. We also like to accommodate people that are getting in touch with Kings League for the first time. And as such, a reminder, there's the Argentina squad, but lest we forget, we will start with 1v1 for the first 60 seconds of this contest with goalkeepers, of course. Otherwise, it would be a case of simply just pinging the ball into an empty net. And then with every minute that elapses until the 5-minute mark, a further player will be introduced. Keisuke Fukuya there, wearing 1.
There he is, yep.
He is the very agile goalkeeper you spoke about earlier on.
Yep.
And Shunsuke Nakamura wearing 74, a name that will be familiar to football fans all over the world.
Yeah, no, big fan of his, and we'll have a chance to talk about him. I'm sure he'll be rising to the occasion as the countdown continues before the lights come up. A reminder also, you mentioned some of the rules in the first minute. The keepers cannot come out of their area, and also you don't want to make any fouls in the first minute because otherwise it's a shootout. So, here we go with the lights, Patrick.
And we are off and underway, and we've got Itsuki of Japan, who's first to the loose ball, but then nearly lost it. Needed his goalkeeper to get there, Thomas, because otherwise Rafael João might have picked his pocket.
Absolutely, you've got to be careful in this first minute. As I mentioned, you don't want to give away a foul, you don't want to give away an early goal either. And it's interesting what kind of tactic the teams approach. We've seen some just try and just keep the ball away and just run down the clock so they have teammates come on so they can then play alongside someone. Otherwise, you try and go for that one-on-one right away.
Well, the rationale is interesting as well, isn't it? Just trying to get an insight into what the coaches might be thinking as Argentina come forward here in search of the opening goal. Spaced in to finish. Wonderful work, though, from Itsuki off the line. It is interesting. Do you go for that technical, dynamic player who can get round the keeper as he did there? Or do you go for a defensive specialist like Itsuki showed for Japan? Oh, what a block.
Wonderful block, Patrick. Great teamwork. Great teamwork. They keep obviously taking them around the long way around, trying to keep that angle almost impossible. As Argentina try again, this could be it, Patrick.
Oh, and he just lost the moment to shoot it, allowed Itsuki to come back, and all of a sudden Japan have the overload. The goalkeeper's come out, and had that been on target, I'm not sure he was necessarily getting there, Luis Sanchez, but it just shows how quickly this game can change. Rafael João, I thought he had space there to shoot, decided to take an extra touch, and the chance went begging.
It did go begging indeed. Now, as you can see, the keepers can come out after that first minute, and Luis Sanchez is there trying to provide the numerical advantage and create the overlap, perhaps, and free on this side, Romero.
Well, you've got to stretch the pitch, and you need to take a gamble, as the goalkeeper did there. Rafael João will try and keep it alive here. That's a clever ball, and now the goalkeeper's got a free shot if they can find him. He takes a touch and strikes it. Good goalkeeping, though, in response from Keisuke Fukaya.
It's the two keepers taking centre stage there. And that's, again, the beautiful thing about the Kings League. You have the keepers involved, everybody's... It really is total football. And these tend to be, these first 5 minutes, perhaps one of the many exciting moments there. It's all exciting, of course, over the course of the 40 minutes, the two 20-minute halves. But this particular moment when there's lots of space as well to be exploited, when the keepers can come out and join in as well, as we see. Let's see whether Fukaya will adopt a similar approach to his colleague, and it looks like he will.
And indeed, we've got Franco Romero, and we've got the two Romeros. Facu is as well there, part of the squad, wearing 17, but it's 16. It is Franco Romero who's on part of that Argentina side, but space down the near side. That was an easy save for the goalkeeper. Japan trying to claim a corner, but now Argentina will have the next passage of play. And another look at that shot there, or we abort it, because you show replays at your peril in Kings League.
It's breathless stuff, Patrick.
It's
breathless, Patrick. It is breathless. It is a non-stop. You just have to keep your eyes glued all the time to the screen if you're following from home, or to the pitch if you're here with us at the Vismara, Centro of Vismara, as Argentina take a shot from distance. It might fall kindly for the keeper.
That caught him right in the back of the head. I tell you what, he has not flinched at all. It could have easily gone down there and, you know, might have required some treatment. But credit to these warriors, Yamada Itsuki, there, just standing firm in the face of that absolutely huge, powerful shot, and the ball did just stray out of play, hence why Japan have got it back.
I certainly feel that one right now, but especially tomorrow morning. Might need a nice pack later, but for now only focused on trying to get the better of Argentina. Japan in the all-blue and in possession against the, is it the Albiceleste Selección? I think it's one of their several nicknames for Argentina. Now more and more players coming onto the pitch. It's 5v5. Still a bit of a space, but we're now getting more and more to what one could say traditional football, and that's 7v7 when we go beyond the 5th minute mark.
And that's when we enter into the sort of cagey phase of the game, isn't it? That's when it becomes a bit more tactical and technical, because early on here, it's almost like a hybrid sport. It's a bit like when you go to an American playground and you see the basketball hoops and you've got people doing a 1v1, and it's something similar here in Kings League in those early minutes, but now it starts to resemble a bit more futsal, albeit it is on a 7-a-side pitch. You've got those bigger goals, so you can see spectacular strikes. And personally, Thomas, I'd like to see one of these teams really try their luck from distance.
Maybe now inside the box they might get a chance here, Argentina, and now an opportunity on the break, Japan, but they're just running into trouble there. Argentina, would you say, just slightly the better team so far? I know it's very early to say.
They've certainly had more of the territory, but the goalkeeper was equal to that early effort, but they've spurned possession here in their own defensive third. Opportunity knocks. The angle was against him. He'll still try again here. If he can stand it up, and the goalkeeper flicks it behind. He could have easily pushed that into his own net.
Yeah, that would have been a disastrous start for Japan. They still have to soak up the pressure here. They're very much still on the back foot as the corner comes in. And nodded away. Can Japan now get Nakamura on the ball?
Thomas, as you know, I'm new to Kings League. I want you to talk to me about all of the various phases of the game. How does it work? Who's playing which card? When does a certain factor come into play? Try and put yourself in the shoes of the two presidents here. So we've got Junichi Kato on the one side, and we've got Kun Agüero, who's the Argentina president, with the guest president as well, Marquito Navaja. What are they thinking? What are they trying to achieve here?
Well, the first thing, we've just seen one of the first phases of the Kings, which was those first 5 minutes with each player coming on with each passing minute. We are now 7v7. At the minute, the presence, all they could do is they could call a presidential penalty, but we tend to see them more in the second half, Patrick. Second half is also when we can see those secret cards used by the coaches and the presidents. Reminding the final 2 minutes of the first half, we also have the role, as we see, Junichi, you mentioned him earlier. He's watching on, and he could be taking a penalty at some stage in this match. Final 2 minutes, the roll of the dice. And depending on what number comes out, that's the number of players that play the final 2 minutes. So it could be 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. But we'll see that shortly.
So that's a throwback to the early minutes of the game where we see that repeated in the last two matches. Top scorers so far, Swad of Turkey with 4 goals, albeit I think that fourth one rather, counted double. So where's your cut-off point? Is it 4 goals or is it 5?
It's technically 4 goals, but the final score obviously was Turkey 5-0 against Ukraine.
Call it a ghost goal, shall we? Don't mention that.
Be careful when we
Jose
are in
Mourinho,
Milan
are
as
you
well.
watching?
And we know Milan ghost goal is controversial as Japan find themselves on the back foot here.
And who's there doing the sliding challenge again every single time?
Him,
it's Suki Yamada. Loves it, absolutely loves to go to ground.
Putting his body on the line there.
Well, as well, because you can graze your knee, but another look at that particular challenge, which might have been a bit controversial, but there you have it. And coming back to those secret cards, you've not yet become a president of Kings League. I know it is a burning
it's an ambition of mine, absolutely.
Going forward.
Wouldn't want to be
in
for
your
England.
Personal life, your professional life, etc. I think you need to get hold of a bit more money first to be able to invest in the
in that
team,
case, I'll just be a player then. Or a fan.
If you were to be a president, what would be your preferred secret card? If you could choose one and you had the deck uncovered, what would you select? What's your favourite?
I would always, as a thinking tactically, I would always go for a penalty. And I don't mean a shootout because you have a shootout or a penalty. I mean a traditional penalty, 12 yards, because you've got that opportunity one-on-one with the keeper, where, of course, the striker always starts with the advantage. But I'm a big fan of the shootout because it's so exciting when the player starts from the centre circle as Japan try and come forward here.
And then after all that, he just got it wrong there, Enkin. It was a shame because the initial passage of play was wonderful to drop the shoulder and get away down the line. So, yes, the important distinction there in terms of the terminology. A penalty is your traditional penalty, and then the shootout, as you said, when they dribble up from inside that centre circle, so that's where they have 5 seconds to score.
Exactly, and
you're basically trying to do a Ronaldo phenomenal, the old-school Ronaldo, not to be considered by his potential physique. Lovely ball in, what a goal that is from Augusto Fernandez wandering in, timing his run to perfection. And the flag, I think, has gone up. It won't count. Was he offside?
Well, Patrick caught everybody by surprise, caught the Japanese defence by surprise as he caught out everybody here inside the ground as well. It's a close call. Was he marginally offside? I think he might have been, Patrick.
Very good decision there from the officials immediately as the assistant raising the alarm, the referee giving the indirect free kick. And we also cut away to our Argentina president there, and he was immediately questioning the call. VAR, the goal stands. Well, it was an officiating mistake. They will feel it's justice, Argentina. And the only slightly disappointing thing there for the player himself is the fact that it was a celebration in installments for Augusto Fernandez, but either way, the joy is not diminished. Great ball, even better header.
All that matters for Augusto and all that matters for Argentina is that they lead on the balance of play. You feel it is deserved, but like I said, just ghosting in just caught us all by surprise, and above all, and more importantly, they caught out the Japan defence there and the keeper.
And it's so nice as well for these players. I know that VAR is much maligned, that people say it slows down the game. That was a very quick VAR intervention, incidentally. But it's also nice for these players who've not necessarily graced the professional game, that they have an opportunity, Thomas, to feel part of the professional ranks by having this technology available. And it also shows just how deceptive things can be. When a ball is played over the top, you've got one player, the forward, going one way, the defender trying to step up to play him offside, and yet because of that, there's an optical illusion. He looked offside. He was very much level.
Oh, that's, again, the beauty again of the Kings League, wanting to have that sportsmanship, wanting to make sure as fair as possible, to make sure there is no real controversy. We can look back at the footage, take our time as we saw there, and you get to the right decision, and that's important. And then there's no complaints from either side because it's there, the evidence is clear as Japan try their very best, but so far it really hasn't been their afternoon.
No, it hasn't, and I don't know if you've ever been to Argentina or Japan. Have you sampled their cuisine? Let me tell you something.
Sadly not.
All of you watching from elsewhere, Japanese food, sushi in particular, is basically the Milanese staple diet. And I say staple for people of a, shall we say, of a certain budget.
Yeah.
There are those that when they go out to eat, they now shun pizzerias. They don't go for a pizza. They go for a cheeky sushi, Thomas. And I, for one, I'm a fan. But as an Englishman, I prefer Italian food. But you will get Milanese that will actually prefer, and they want their gunkan and they want all of that. You know, their gyoza
Tokyo, so that's another one. Yeah.
So, you know, interesting.
It is, in fact, actually, Patrick, you talk about in the build-up to Italy, Japan, we actually asked a selection of Italians whether they preferred pizza or sushi, and do you know what won it?
I'm going to say sushi based
You're
on what I
correct,
just
you're
said.
correct,
Otherwise,
you're
you would
correct.
completely contradict me, and that's the first rule of broadcasting. Be on the same page, be on the same team. But we also know that Argentine cuisine is very big in Milan as well, in particular in the professional ranks, and Inter in particular, where they have an Argentine vice president, Javier Pupi, and they also have Joaquin Correa, who is the adepti, the aficionado of the asado.
Asado, that's it. Yeah, often you'll see him grilling away at Piano Gentile, the club's training ground.
A bit like I was grilling you on the rules of Kings League in the lead up to this particular day 3, because I do feel, I have to say, a little bit like the Johnny-come-lately, last in, maybe first out, a bit like some of those teams that we'll see later on with their last chance saloon. But you and Simon just doing such a great job in day 1 and 2, allow me to say that. I know you're a modest man. And I thought I've got a lot to live up to.
Was super,
well,
in every sense of the word.
Step up in his big shoes. Opportunity knocks potentially here with Argentina using every last inch of the playing surface.
Yeah, passing around really nicely, and you can tell that goal has given them that extra boost. They're already very much, as we said, on the ascendancy, starting brightly. You feel for Japan, is this perhaps one step too far for them, having surprised Italy, now trying to get there over Argentina? Is it too much for them so far? Yes, but of course, in the Kings League, you just expect the unexpected. Anything can happen.
Come on, you've watched enough Kings League to know that trying to suggest Argentina are going to go on and win this game after just 13 minutes.
That's a good point.
Courtesy of a 1-goal lead, when in the last 2 minutes, goals count double.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit naive. I don't expect it of you. What a ball through. That is round the keeper. The angle was against him.
Still there, Patrick, still alive.
He can hit that first time. He scuffed it into the ground, and you can tell by his reaction.
Yeah.
He knows what a big chance that was. Martin Mantovani.
Yeah, who's got lots of experience having playing in the Kings League in Spain, Patrick. And so, yeah, one of those key players for them. You expect him to do a bit, but at least hit the target, because he came onto it on the burst, unmarked, a lot of space, a lot of time. Expect a little bit better from him, and it really should have been a second goal.
Then again, first rule of Kings League is, not there are no rules, there are plenty of rules. Expect the unexpected.
Absolutely, expect the unexpected. Indeed. So, which is the reason why me talking about Argentina going on now and winning it is absurd.
Well, we'll see. You might well be right. Tell us on Twitch whether you think Tolo has gone loco, or indeed whether some of what he's saying has a bit of sound logic behind it. But again, Argentina just squeezing Japan here defensively, trying to twist the knife and turn the screw. I thought that was Papu Gomez then. It's P. Gomez, not to be confused with the former Monster player, Atalanta as well.
Oh, and the Papu dance. If we get a goal from Argentina, I will be doing the Papu dance, or a goal from Japan.
Well, maybe we need to get one of these cameras to spin around and see you in your white tee and your tight blue jeans.
Yeah, no, I am very much dressed like a fat dad right now. So
what a head!
Comes in.
What a goal that is! Goal, 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 goal! Facu Mahalas Sanchez!
Golazo! I think that's how they say it in Spanish. That is a beauty. We're speaking about contenders for goal of the tournament. That is certainly up there. Top bins.
Top bins indeed. Now that is going to take some beating when it comes to the highlight reel, because that is one of the purest strikes you will see at any level, in any venue, in any arena, and it is Facu Navas Sanchez with a peach into the top corner, and all of a sudden Japan are in danger of being blown away here. The Albiceleste are showing that they've come to Milan and they mean business. They want to go from Milan to Turin.
Patrick was saying about Argentina, how they look really impressive so far in this first half.
And we've still got a live reaction across the way from us with the Argentine stand-in president, and he was still holding his head in his hands as to, what have I just seen? I can't believe it.
Can we have another here? Here he is as he tries to combine on that far side. Argentina, if they get the third here, it really would put them into such a strong position as we go into those final 2 minutes of the first half. 18-minute mark, the roll of the dice, the Red Bull dice coming into it, and that could shake things up. That could maybe go in Japan's favour if it's a 3-on-3 or 1-on-1 situation. We'll wait and see what the dice has in store.
We might need to have a word with our production staff just to see if there's any link between Marquito Nahava, who is the guest president, and Facu Navas Sanchez, who's just scored the goal. So very similar there. I don't know what Navas means. So if anyone could suggest that via the chat on Twitch,
please.
Absolutely. A chance here for number 3, can square it. Instead, he went for goal himself, and it was the wrong decision. Should really have played in his teammate, Thomas.
Yeah, no, there's space on this near side, and as we see here from the replay, but as we say, hindsight is a wonderful thing. It was dragged just wide in the end, but Argentina still remain very much in complete control here.
And I'd also just like to say, so nice to be here, doing something a little bit different. You and I, we do a lot of commentary, albeit it's very traditional stuff. How nice to really let rip and give it a goal, 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 goal. I mean, I shouldn't do it now because we're in live play, but I've always dreamt of doing it. I've never been allowed to do it. Now I've got free reign, and I look forward. It has to be done on the right occasion. I don't think any banal, generic goal, but when there is a golazo that merits it, I will be going full South American style. Just watch.
Patrick, I'm likewise. In fact, I've been told at times I've got to try and keep it down, but today I don't have to. Now I really can let myself go as well, and jumping up with joy, arms flailing, as if we were supporters out there, because we are supporters of football, we are football fans as well, and this is a new form of football which is taking the world and taking over really by storm here, and Argentina are taking over here, and as they look for a third goal.
And they're not far off getting a third goal, if you ask me. Japan are chasing shadows, Argentina shifting it. They have that 2-goal cushion. And what it might require for Japan is for them to maybe break some of the momentum here. Is it time at some stage for that president penalty? I think they can play that in the first half, can't they? It might be a chance just to get them on the board. You eat into that deficit.
There's going to be no time left, Patrick, in the 18 minutes, so hence the reason should have just got a shot away and just tried your luck. Now, for those who are new to the sport, as we see a quick recap of the first half, the opening goal coming in, and then the second was a storm. Hopefully we'll see that shortly. Now it's going to be the roll of the dice. Patrick, the Red Bull dice, this energy break, energized by Red Bull. And it is ZW Jackson of Italy with the roll of the dice. What have we got here? Oh, this is a very interesting one, Patrick. It is a Red Bull, so it means it's going to be a 1v1, but with keepers.
1v1 with keepers. The Red Bull dice has spoken, and we saw that dice fly. Lest we forget, Red Bull gives you wings.
And hopefully for Japan, it will give them goals because they are trailing here. Thank you very much.
I would say you're here all week, but you've been here all week already.
Exactly. Sadly for you, I'm also here
He's
next
been
week
sleeping
as well.
here at Vismara, Thomas Lawrence, believe it or not. Those are the rumours, but they are to be scotched or not. Here we go then, 1v1 plus keepers. God, it's like Formula One, isn't it? We're not far from Monza. Go, 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 go!
Infringement, unfortunately, on the Japanese side.
Infringement from me as well, saying go. They probably heard me and decided to go. So I apologise to the Japanese player if I did trigger that false start.
Patrick. We know it in Spanish, lo siento, if I'm not mistaken, but perdón or disculpe.
Lots of different options.
Lots of different options. Lots of different options. Not always the same.
Like Italian as well.
Yeah. So with this, we can see here the one-on-one situation where he goes around the outside and really goes for it.
Well, it looked like he wanted to get it on his left side there, didn't he, Facu Romero? In the end, he had to go on his weaker foot, and it showed whilst he hit the target straight at the goalkeeper. Now an opportunity, though, for Japan with Enken, who's taken a tumble.
And that was foolish. That was foolish because, you know, if you commit a foul in that first minute, you give away a shootout when it comes to one-on-one situation. So that's the difficult thing about these one-on-ones. You've got to be really attentive, disciplinary matters, and that now gives Japan a chance, a lifeline back into the game.
Absolutely a foothold here, provided Enken can go forward and score here. Real name, Kensuke Enjo. And Enken knows that the pressure is on here. The 5 seconds begin. He's got to be quick. He dashes, he scores, shoots straight at the keeper. In the end, it's fine work from your boy, Luis Sanchez.
Luis Sanchez, again, for those who've been thinking, why didn't he go on the rebound? You can't go on the rebound. You have one go at it, one shot at it. Patrick, as Argentina, can they get one shot away and another goal?
They might be able to here, but he was so tricky that he tumbled himself.
Yeah.
And it was the player we saw right at the start, wasn't it? Rafael Joao, who's clearly the 1v1 specialist, but now Enken looking to expose his seeming lack of pace. He's managed it. Enken is through here, and it's another save. This time he could take the rebound, but Luis Sanchez just cannot be beaten.
As you see, also just another one for those in this situation, the keepers cannot come out of it, hence the reason why they're staying in their penalty area.
And how do you train for this, Thomas? This is 120 seconds of just end-to-end action. You need good stamina as much as anything else.
Yeah, it's all... Just thought he might give away a penalty there. He stayed on his feet.
Rafael Joao nearly losing out. Enken, again, he's so good defensively. We have seen, though, his limitations at the other end of the pitch with that shootout, and then afterwards when he was actually 1v1.
Yeah, no, it is a tricky situation as Argentina go for it again. I thought I was going to be shouting goal, 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 but unfortunately not. I'm going to say save, 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 save. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, it doesn't, but fine work again. Once more from Keisuke Fukaya, because he was at full stretch there to keep it out. And a reminder, we are getting close to the end of proceedings. Rafael Joao strikes it over. We're into a minute of added time, aren't we? So we've got just over 20 seconds remaining. Perhaps one last attack here for the Japanese. How they would love to halve the deficit before we go in for half-time. Big moment here. Can he open up the shooting angle and get the shot away? He can, but it's another save from Luis Sanchez. And are we looking at a potential MVP of the tournament?
Oh, Patrick, you are not wrong there. Luis Sanchez has been fantastic. Left his mark against Spain when it came to the goals. He is doing his primary job, though, which is keeping goals out. He has helped Argentina preserve their two-goal cushion, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, and who did he keep out there? Not just anyone. This is not just someone that they brought in off the street here in Wismar. No, far from it. That is the great Shunsuke Nakamura, a former professional, and it showed there from his technical ability, but we'll allow you now to listen in to these halftime team talks.
Salimos con Chelo, sí, Manto Augusto, Cese, Franco, Facu, sí, Facu Gamarra, y Sambu. ¿Vale? Sí, estamos bien, en defensa estamos bien. Cuando estamos ordenaditos y vemos la posibilidad de los tres de arriba de ir a presionar, vamos todos juntos, organizamos desde atrás, le metemos ahí y vamos, encima para robar. ¿Está claro? Mientras estamos ordenados, estamos bien. De momento estamos...
Explícanos por si vienen altos.
Sí, si nos vienen a presionar alto, ya sabemos, tenemos que saltar la línea, estamos los tres, ¿sí? Acá, alto, y jugamos el cajón y en campo contrario. ¿Está claro? En ataque, importante sobre todo. Movilidad, ¿sí? Cuando estamos acumulando, sacarla rápido y a partir de ahí tomar decisión.
で、一回前からフルで行って、微妙だったらハーフから回させてから行く。で、回させてから行っちゃいますね。回させてからいい？最初は行きたい。最初行ってみて、それがハマるんやったらそれでいいし、ハマらんのやったら一回下げてからはめていく。で、はめ方やねんけど、相手が自分たちがこういった時にここでさらされた時にもうこいつ行ってもっていいよ。この前の選手が行ってもっていい。で、この裏のスペース狙ってるから、このライン下げてもいいから、今めっちゃ綺麗にこのライン取ってるから、一回下げてもいいから、下げたら後ろも反応する。こっちが下げたら3番反応する。オッケー。行こう行こう行こう。
Here we are then, the countdown is on, 10 seconds until the start of the second half. Argentina well in the clear here with that two-goal cushion. They have required their goalkeeper though as well, and they've now decided to change keeper for the second half. Thomas, we saw Luis Sanchez in the first. It's now time for Marcelo Barovero. Can he live up to what we've expected already now with these Argentine keepers?
Yeah, offer something different to Luis Sanchez. We saw Luis Sanchez play more as a rush goalkeeper, getting out of his penalty, trying to join in and building up from the back. Here we've got more a traditional keeper, a bit taller as well. So we'll see whether that changes Argentina's approach, but that's route one from them.
It is indeed, and an opportunity there. They could have made it 3-0 very early on. Facu Romero hitting it just wide in the end. But Japan have just been peppered throughout this match. Yep. They have required their goalkeeper to make several saves, Keisuke Fukaya. That's why we picked him out pre-match as well, because he is going to be a busy man. We thought as much. And for once, we got it right. You know, our predictions aren't always spot on. Yours especially have been pretty wide of the mark.
I've been really disappointed when it comes to the
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go for it.
So here is the first game, Argentina-Japan.
Yeah.
Later on, we've got the big one. I'm going to wait for your prediction on that.
Yep, no worries.
Before that, 6 o'clock start. The Battle of the U's, United States, Uzbekistan. Which way do you see it going? I'm not going to ask you for a scoreline.
No, scoreline's impossible to predict, as you know, in the Kings League. But I will go with the USA. I was really impressed with their performance against Mexico, Patrick, and they've got some really stand-up players, including their keeper. The keepers really, for me, have really impressed. I've been so surprised because
the star-spangled keeper, El Pollo.
I like it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And singing the stars and stripes come the end of the match or not.
And what about Mexico against Saudi Arabia?
That is a real tight one, but I'm going to say Mexico, just because of their experience in the Kings League Americas, all those players that played, and of course in Kings League in Spain.
Absolutely. So now we come to the big one. The big one indeed. The host nation, Italy, beaten by this Japan side that we're currently watching 3-1 on day one. Spain, where it all began, Kings League, our great leader, Gerard Piqué, absolutely. They lost 4-2 to the Argentina side that we're seeing in action at the moment as well. Which way do you see it going? Surely Italy, the host nation, can't go home, but can we see a Kings World Cup nations without Spain? That's the dilemma we have.
In some respects, it's disappointing that we're going to see two sort of two giants potentially going out. That would be a real shame, but it's part of the Kings League action, I'm afraid, Patrick. That's what happens as Japan finds it under some real pressure here.
They are indeed. And I tell you what, I'm absolutely loving the drone just flying above us as well. It's a little bit disconcerting at times. You do wonder whether the players might ping one into the drone. But it's I'm a big fan of YouTube golf, just coming to another interactive sport that you can see online. And they use drones loads. Sometimes the players actually hit it so close to the drone, you're worried that they're going to kill hundreds, if not thousands of euros worth of kit. That's lovely skill, meantime, as Argentina pursue a third goal. But we are in very capable hands here with our drone pilot. I don't know where he is, but wherever you are, buy that man a drink.
Yeah, and a mention now for our sponsors, Air Asia Move, your favourite travel companion across Southeast Asia. Explore flights, hotels and activities all in one app. So thank you to Air Asia Move.
There you go. You know where to go when you're planning your trip. I've got a friend who's currently in Asia at the moment, in the Philippines. She went there for the New Year. So, yeah, she's enjoying herself.
Well, why not get a flight to Japan?
Just a short hop, skip and a jump, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure geographically. Anyway, Japan, speaking of which, they are trying to get their way back into this game.
Man here you mentioned towards the end of the first half, Patrick Nakamura. So much experience, and also it's playing Italy, you know. Many forget, with Regina.
Ah, Regina,
had to get Reggio Calabria in a hat to, Patrick.
You do, that is where your in-laws hail from. We won't divulge any more information about your personal life.
No, I don't want to be talking about the swatch it out on the
Regina is the team from Reggio Calabria, which is basically where the point of the toe kisses, the point of the boot rather, kisses Sicily, if you will, albeit there's a bit of animosity between the pair. That's Regina, not to be confused with Reggiano, which is the home of Reggio Emilia.
Absolutely.
Look at this, and the goalkeeper.
And I was saying he's not got the feet of Luis Sanchez.
Well, he doesn't,
it.
because after that he booted it straight into touch. What's the point of doing the sombrero if you're then going to waste possession? Come on.
Yeah, come on, just boot it up, do something special, try and go for goal. Follow the footsteps in your fellow colleague, Luis
Sanchez. I heard
Sanchez.
you referencing René Higuita yesterday,
yes,
the Colombia goalkeeper, with a slight mispronunciation.
I apologise in advance for my woeful
Going to see the long throw here from Japan, mixing it up. Free header though for Argentina to clear it.
Hablo español, Patrick.
I'll tell you what's great about René Higuita. I actually saw, I will be talking to an audience that probably don't know what I'm on about unless it's making a comeback. But Sabutio, when we were young, we used to have a bit of table football with the stick noddles. You'd flick the ball. It just shows how far we've come. You and I were playing Sabutio. That's how old we are. People are now watching the Kings League. Another look at that particular passage.